Is it possible to send a round 3 ZOMG in Bloons TD battles? I've had this particular question in mind for a while now, but I never really put in the time to see if it was actually doable. I thought it would be a way too time-consuming thing to attempt, and it just sounded way too crazy anyway. But a few days ago, I made it my mission to achieve this crazy goal, and so I started the grind. So grab your popcorn and a drink, because in today's slightly different video, I'm gonna walk you guys through how I sent the world's earliest ZOMG the game has ever seen. Also, make sure to leave a like if you enjoyed this video, as it does help with the YouTube algorithm. And let's get started. It all started in 2016. Back then, things looked a little different in this game. There were no powers, strategies like Dart Farm and Balloon Shipper were considered OP, and YouTubers like Gaming Mode and Masterov were still actively posting content and gaining millions of views and subscribers. We could say that the game was at its peak during this time. Anyway, two other now very famous figures were playing and uploading Bloons TD Battles content. These were ISAB and Aliens Rock 50. These two guys loved playing around and doing weird, seemingly impossible things, such as getting round 5 temples, achieving the late game world record, but also sending the world's earliest ZOMG. In fact, they were able to send a round 4 ZOMG, which was pretty crazy at the time. This record wouldn't be beaten for a long time. In fact, it was only beaten after a huge update was released, which added a variety of different powers and essentially changed the game completely. Things that used to be impossible could be done. So with the help of these new powers, a guy called Coney sent the new earliest ZOMG on round 4 in 1 minute and 16 seconds. Yet, nobody seemed bothered to beat this. Probably because the video did not gain a lot of traction. But this changes today. So, if you stuck around this long introduction but didn't really understand what I was talking about, well, don't worry. I will try my best to explain everything there is to know. Let's start off with the game modes. To achieve the world's earliest ZOMG, which is the strongest and most expensive balloon you can send in this game, you will need to be playing in the following 3 combined game modes: Speed, Megaboost, Bananza. Speed mode increases the speed of the balloons, the rounds go by a little faster than normal, which leads to faster income from farms and cobras, and you can also send balloons 2 rounds earlier than usual. Megaboost enables you to upgrade all the towers on your screen by 1 tier just by tower boosting, and all of the balloons that you're sending by 1 tier as well just by balloon boosting. So this will help you save up a lot of money during these speedruns. And finally Bananza, which essentially just gives you double income. Now it's also important to note that you can use an eco power in your loadout, and for these strategies the best one is the so-called genetically enhanced crops. This power first of all just looks crazy, but also makes a banana instantly produce 2 rounds worth of income. Okay, so what about the towers that we'll need to use for the world record? Well, the main towers will be Cobra, Farm and Village. Let's start off with the Cobra, because it allows you to do a lot of crazy things. First of all, the Wired Funds upgrade gives you $70 per round, which is 140 in Bananza. This means that if you sell a Cobra after 2 rounds, you will already be making profit. The next useful upgrade is the Monkey Stim, which is the 3-0 upgrade. This upgrade decreases the tower boost cooldown by 5 seconds to a minimum of 15 seconds. This one is huge, as we can then mega boost our towers much more frequently. And finally, the upgrade you were probably thinking about in the first place is the Offensive Push upgrade, which allows you to send balloons 1 round earlier than usual. The Farm, of course, will allow us to get up a lot of money in a short amount of time, and the Village will decrease the cost of all upgrades in its range. Okay, so I know this is a lot of information thrown at you right now, but it will make sense in a bit. So let's start off by looking at the first speedrun. I start off by playing in Megaboost Bananza. So some of you might be thinking, wait, but you said you need to be playing in speed mode. Well, at the time of me starting this challenge, I naturally thought that in speed mode the rounds would go by much faster than usual, and you also will have less time to send the ZOMG. In fact, here's a comparison of normal mode and speed mode. If I wanted to send a round 3 ZOMG, I would have to be 12 entire seconds faster than in non-speed mode. But later you will find out why I was wrong here. But that being said, let's look at my first decent run. I start off by placing down 4 cobras and getting them up to wired funds. I then go for my first farm. As soon as I can afford the plantation, I use the first Megaboost to upgrade all towers by 1 tier. I then go for 4 more cobras and get them up to a 2-0, boost again, and now things are gonna start looking a little crazy. I use my genetically enhanced crops as soon as I have my factory up, which generates a lot of cash. I spend all of that cash to get up a total of 10 3-0 cobras. Then I bloon and tower boost and successfully send a ZOMG in 1 minute and 45 seconds. Pretty cool, huh? I would like to mention that as soon as the bloon disappears from the cooldown bar, it counts as being sent. The amount of time a bloon takes to be visible varies from map to map, so this is a much more consistent way of timing it. Anyway, you could probably tell that this wasn't a very optimized speedrun, so I gave it a few more tries. After multiple attempts, I ended up sending a ZOMG in 1 minute and 39 seconds. This means that I was still 26 seconds away from sending it on round 3. So I had to come up with a better strategy. Naturally, if I wanted to send a ZOMG even earlier, I would have to boost faster to get up the required money. In order to do that, I needed to decrease the cooldown of the boost. So that's exactly what I did. I started out the same way as I did before, getting up 4 cobras and my farm. Once I boosted for the first time though, instead of buying 4 new cobras, I actually went and upgraded one of the first 4 to a 3-0 monkey stem upgrade. Remember that each monkey stem upgrade lets you boost 5 seconds earlier. So if everything went right in this speedrun, I would be able to send the ZOMG in 1 minute and 34 seconds instead of 1 minute and 39 seconds, right? Well, actually, because I was faster at upgrading and placing the towers, I was able to shave off an extra second. So my new personal best now stands at 1 minute and 33. So now we're officially 20 seconds away from sending the blimp on round 3, but we can definitely still further improve this time. So what if we get up 2 monkey stems instead of 1? Sounds pretty easy, right? Well, actually no. Here's where things start to get exponentially harder. Now placing 11 cobras and upgrading them to a 3-0 requires an insane amount of consistency, precision and timing. Just so you guys understand the difficulty of this run, let me put it this way. I have 15 seconds to upgrade 11 cobras to a 3-0, upgrade 3 cobras from a 2-0 to a 3-0, selling my farm at the right time to afford all of the upgrades, and bloon and tower boost and successfully send out the right blimp. Now believe me when I say that I've managed to misclick the last step multiple times. So this took a long time to pull off. Roughly 3 hours into this, I finally achieved the perfect run. I'll play it for you right now. As you can see, I sent it in 1 minute and 29 seconds. I had to change up a few things such as upgrading the farm to a 4-2 while the genetically enhanced crops was active to get up a bit of extra money. At the end I only had $130 left to spare. I think this is as close to a perfect speedrun as you can have. Sadly round 3 was not quite achieved, but I still had one more trick up my sleeve. Now before I get into the best part of the video, I wanted to point out that only a small amount of people that watch my content are actually subscribed. My goal is to hit 30k subscribers by the end of the year, So if you want to help me out, do consider subscribing. Now remember when earlier I mentioned that sending a round 3 ZOMG in speed mode was probably impossible? Well, I was wrong. Very wrong. The rounds may go by faster than the normal mode, but you get income every 4 seconds instead of every 6 seconds. And your income from the farms would also generate faster. This is the case because farm income is round based and not time based. So you will get the same amount of bananas each round, no matter if it lasts 1 minute or 10 minutes. And so with new motivation, I started the grind. The strategy in speed mode is a little different. I first started off by placing a farm instead of placing the cobras and upgraded to a plantation. And then I mega boosted, upgrading it to a 3rd tier. I then placed down 2 cobras and upgrade both of them to a monkey stim upgrade, effectively reducing the cooldown of the 2nd boost by 10 seconds. I then mega boost again, use my genetically enhanced crops and upgrade the farm to a 4-2 while the crates are still shooting out to get even more money. I place down 16 cobras and upgrade all of them to a 3-0 in the range of the village, reducing the cost of each upgrade by 10%. Since I don't have enough money to afford all of them, I need to sell my farm at some point to keep up the upgrades. And this is pretty much the final most important step before sending the BFB and of course boosting it to a ZOMG. In this run I was literally milliseconds away from sending it on round 3, so I kept trying and trying. And then it finally happened. The first ever round 3 ZOMG, sent in just 57 seconds. Just let that sink in for a bit. I had done it. I had sent the round 3 ZOMG, right? It was all over. Now I could end the video right here, but I was not quite satisfied. I knew for a fact that I could beat this time even further. And there was one more thing that I had learned from my previous speedruns, which was the power of anti-stalling. Now if you remember my explanation at the beginning of the video, I said that rounds don't really have a fixed duration. They can vary by a few seconds, depending how long it takes for you to pop the balloons. So if I sped up the rounds, I could generate money from my cobras and farms much faster, and possibly send the ZOMG even earlier. In terms of round number, I wasn't gonna beat round 3 anytime soon, but in terms of pure speed, I still had some room for improvement. Since I already accomplished my goal of getting the earliest round possible, I could now focus entirely on getting the fastest time possible. So one last time, I go back to work. After an hour or so, I managed to perfect my strategy. At this time my brain had pretty much completely memorized all of the steps, so the only true difficulties were placing down the towers, which is much harder than it sounds, upgrading them all to the right upgrade, and of course timing when to sell the farm to have the perfect amount of money. And after countless attempts, I pushed the record to 54 seconds. But I knew this could be improved even further, and I was determined to break the record one last time when this happened. Now this was heartbreaking. I was just $30 short of sending a ZOMG in possibly 52 or even 51 seconds. 3 hours had gone by and I just gave up. I now challenge you to beat this record. I know for a fact that there are many players out there that are way more skilled than me, so I'm confident that someone will get a sub 50 second ZOMG one day. Whoever is the first to beat this, let me know and I will shout you out 100%. Hopefully this starts a small speedrun community. Well, I really do hope you enjoyed this video. Definitely subscribe and leave a like, and if you want to support me even further, check out my channel membership to get some cool perks such as emojis and exclusive content. If you click on the join button below, a small video will pop up explaining everything. Have a great day.